Hi guys, today we are going to be stitching this beautiful floral heart. It's totally suitable for beginners and it can be done in one day. And it can make a nice gift for Valentine's Day. The most interesting part here is those woven roses. I did them in two different ways and I will show you how I did it on today's video tutorial here. I'll probably start from those woven roses because they are the most interesting part, yeah guys? So let's start from it, and I will start from the big one. And I did it with two different colors. I'm gonna use this and this color. I'm gonna use two strands of full 6 strands in one needle. So I'm gonna need to cut the same length of the strand for both two colors. If you guys have any questions, please ask me in the chat below. There are so many people here in the chat. Where are you from, guys? Which country are you from? So those two colors there will be used together in one needle. I'm gonna use the biggest needle that I have, this one, and if you have the bigger needle, so use that. Currently the biggest needle I have is this one, and I'm gonna try to thread it. It can be hard to thread it, but it's actually possible. And before I'm gonna make the woven rose, I will need one more needle, and I'm gonna make those stitches here inside, which I'm gonna use for weaving. So I will leave this for later. I'm gonna make a knot here. And yeah, I'm gonna use this piece of thread to just make the base of the flower. And I want to show those two types of roses, and here I have just a little flower, so I will make a woven rose here as well, the smaller one. This one is going to be here. So okay, so I will fix my hoop in the hoop stand, so my work is not going to be moving around. I will make 5 stitches this way, so I'm going to be able to do the weaving for the rose. I really enjoyed stitching this rose yesterday. I have spent about not more than 2 hours to make the one half of it, so it's really like quick and simple project. Okay, and this is for the next woven rose. I'm gonna make it instead of this teeny flower. And now I'm switching to the needle with 2 strands of 2 slightly different colors. One color is lighter and one color is darker, and they are going to be like working together and make a fluffy rose. So I'm going between those 2 stitches close to the center, and I'm going to be weaving around. It can be hard to go through the fabric because there are 2 threads with full 6 skeins. So you are going through under your stitches and you are skipping one stitch. I'm skipping this one stitch and I go under the next one. The same I do here. I'm skipping one stitch and I go under this one. Sorry, it's a little bit uncomfortable when my hoop in the hoop stand. I usually keep my hoop in the hands, so it's easy to move around. But for video tutorial, I would like to make it sitting on the place. So you just do it and continue. Don't tie it too much. So you need to have your stitches laid in a free way like this. If it's twisted, it's okay. It's actually even great if it's twisted, so it will give you like a natural texture, or like and they are going to look like petals. I really like the result when the thread is twisted, actually, when I'm using 2 strands, 2 different colors. So this is actually good. The name of the stitch is Woven Rose. And if you don't like how your stitches laid, you can use your needle to like move them and place them wherever you want. If you stitch it, if you are tied too much, you can release the stitch with your needle. So use your needle for like placing your stitches how you like it to be. With every your next stitch, your rose became bigger and bigger. And in the end, I will show you what to do if your stitches are getting longer and longer, and you need to finish your rose to make it look like natural. I will make few stitches and I will show you. Yes, this pattern is available on my Etsy shop, just listed it, so you can download it and stitch right away if you want. So you have some time before Valentine's Day. I wanted just to make it available for everyone for this day. See, my thread a little bit broken because it was binded in my bobbins, so it makes the texture of the rose a little bit different, but that's okay. And now in the end, I see that I have to make two long stitches, and it can be placed not in a natural way. I'm going to be making the stitch, you know, the stitch as a stem stitch. So I am going to be doing the stem stitch around this rose until I will like the way how it looks like. So I can make a little bit shorter stitches, and I can put my needle down a little bit under the petals, so you will not see where the stitch is ended. This way. Again, don't tie it too much. Let your stitches to see it in a free way. And I'm going here up, and I will place a few more stitches around this flower. I think the perfect fabric for this kind of stitch is linen, because this fabric has a bigger holes and it's easier to stitch with such amount of threads. Yeah, so if you are stitching on a regular cotton, it can be like hard to go through, but it's still possible. I guess 2 more stitches and I'm done. You can help with your hand to place the stitch, and when you come up and when you go down, try to not split your stitch, because it can be hard to go through it with all those threads. Okay, this is the last stitch, and it's done. But the flower is not finished. I will make a few French knots in the center to make it look like a real flower, as I did for this one. See, I did 7 French knots inside. So the same thing I'm gonna do here. I'm gonna use 3 strands of floss, and yeah, I switch it to the smaller needle. So first I will make 1 French knot in the center. I'm rubbing my needles 3 times. Okay, and now I'm gonna make all the rest French knots around this one. Yes, stem stitch was around the flower. I finished it with the stem stitch, this woven rose, so I could make a shorter stitches, which is more comfortable and looks like more natural. And now I switch it to the French knots for the center. And yeah, I started from the woven wheel. Yeah, it called it also like a woven wheel, woven rose, a spider web. There are so many names. And with those French knots inside, it looks more natural. I like how it's gonna look like. Yeah, this pattern, it actually, I use it 5 stitches, and they are all simple stitches. I probably the most complicated is this one, is woven rose. For newbies it can be a little bit frustrating how to do that, but it's actually possible and simple, as you can see from my video tutorials. You just need to like watch more tutorials, and then you will see that it's actually simple. So this rose is finished. How do you guys like it? I think the first one was a little bit bigger, but it's okay. You can make bigger, smaller roses, wherever you like. And also you could do 2 lighter shades of floss inside, and then switch to the 2 of darker shades and make 1 more round, and it's gonna look like a natural. This the same I did for this smaller rose, but I used only 6 strands of floss, and I changed it 3 colors. I started from the dark color inside, then the medium color, and I switch it in the end. I switch it to the light color. The same I will do for this rose, so you will see the whole process. Okay, so I will start from the dark shade, from this one. I'm almost about the end of those threads. I need to refill it. And for the next my next project I will also use this color, so I will probably need to go to the shop. Okay, so, and yeah, I use the biggest needle that I have. It has a big eye and sharp ends. I like to use a needle set from DMC, from the 3 to 9 numbers. It has all sizes that I usually need for embroidery. So if you have that there is a needle set with a big eye and sharp ends, and it has different sizes, so this is ideal for embroidery, because in some cases you need small needle for 1 or 2 strands, in some cases you need the medium one, and some cases you need the big one, so it's a little bit uncomfortable. Oh my god. Okay, I will try. So, dark color for the center, and this is a smaller row, so I'm using only 6 strands. There is no need to use more strands. But if you have bigger roses like this one, so it's cool to stitch with two threads with 6 strands. Okay, one more and I'm finishing here. So I'm finishing with this color and I'm switching to the medium one. And the medium one is this one. It also about the end. Okay, and I continue in the place where I finished it with slightly different color. It's a medium pink. And now I will switch to the lightest color. And the lightest color is this one. If you just do those weaving stitches, and it can be like those parts from the stitches under the stitches, there can be visible, so that's why I do stem stitch around it, so I will be able to cover those stitches as well. And yeah, I'm gonna make more stitches and shorter stitches, so in the place where I need, so that's why I'm switching to the stem stitch, and in order to finish it and like make it more beautiful. And that's it. This flower is finished. Now I'm switching to the yellow color and I will make just a few French knots inside this flower. Just a few French knots. I did 3 French knots last time, so it's going to be like enough. You can make 3 or 4 French knots, wherever you like, wherever you feel that's it's enough. It looks similar to Brazilian embroidery, and I would like to try those Brazilian roses. How do you guys, do you like those roses? Would you like to see how it can be done? And I also would like to let you know that you can stitch roses with some variegated threads or multicolor threads like this, and the color will be changed to the from the light to dark, or from the dark to the light when you are stitching, and it's gonna give you similar result as you can see for this rose. So just definitely go ahead and try this. Okay, that's it for the roses. Let's switch to some other stitches like satin stitch. Which stitch would you like to do? Satin stitch, or maybe you would like to do some lazy daisies and back stitch like I use it for this part. Okay, now I'm switching to these variegated threads. This is, if you will look for DMC, so this is this color, but in DMC the color is changing not so fast as in gamma threads. This is gamma threads. So you can also find such variegated threads in Encore and other brands. So just use which brand is available in your country. And I'm gonna use 3 strands, and I'm using the part of this thread which is changing from the dark color to the light color, and it will give me a nice color transition which gonna look like a natural leaves. So as you can see, there is a dark, medium gray, and it's changed to the light green. And I'm using the medium size of the needle. Okay, which part to choose? I would like to stitch this long part, this one. This all that's all the threads I will need to finish later. I just don't want to distract myself on this process. Okay, so let's probably stitch those 2 parts. I'm gonna be jumping from one place to another, and as I have a long thread, so I will probably start this. I will start from here, I will finish those teeny leaves, and I will jump here and continue, and my thread should be changed to the lighter color which I wanted to be placed here. So with variegated threads you will need to plan a little bit what you are going to be doing and where your thread is going to be changed. I just made just a simple straight stitch. So those teeny leaves they can be made by combination of backstitch and lazy daisies. So now I made a loop which I'm gonna use to make this teeny leaf here. I'm gonna go through this loop like this. You can fix your loop with your needle, and I will make one teeny stitch outside of the loop to fix this loop on the place, and here you go, you have a teeny green leaf here. So I will repeat this process and we'll make teeny leaves for every place I need it to be. This is especially fun when you are using variegated threads. And one back stitch for the stem. And I'm jumping here. Where I'm from Ukraine. And now I see that my thread is changed and this is going to be so interesting. Протяжки на изнанке не просвечивают, если вы используете два слоя ткани. Если у вас немножко прозрачная ткань, вы можете использовать два слоя. Поэтому протяжки не будет видно. I just thought that if your fabric is a little bit transparent, I would recommend you to use 2 layers of fabric, and this way you are not going to be seeing all the places where you jump it with your thread on the back from the front side, so you won't see it. And it's also good if you have like silky fabric on the front, like I use. Its fabric is called gabardine, and I'm using one more layer of fabric, and it's cotton fabric on the back, and it gives me more like a stability of my fabric. It works as a stabilizer. So here I can show you I'm using 2 layers. Yeah, the color combination, it gives me more of feeling spring, like it's spring colors, and yeah, it brings my mood to the really nice mood, because outside is so dark and gray right now, and it's going to be snowing again, and yeah, I'm already dreaming about spring and summer. So those projects, they like keep me in the right mood. And now I'm continuing with the back stitch. As you can see, I'm doing this curl using the back stitch. If you want to have more fun, you can do weaving back stitch here and whip it. Yeah, whip it back stitch, and it's going to be like a smoother, it's gonna give you a smoother texture. And if you will use another color, let's say light yellow color or something like that, so it's gonna give you like a fun effect with the green, and if you will whip it, it's gonna look cool. So that's the option that you can do, but I will leave it as it is. The back stitch also gives a nice texture. I know that there were a lot of snow in New York. So how you guys are doing there? We are going to have a lot of snow as well, probably this night or tomorrow morning, so we are just waiting. Okay, what's next? Let's do some satin stitch. Okay, so I switch it to the medium green. For those big leaves, I'm gonna use those 2 colors, this one and this one. So they are darker than those teeny leaves, and it's gonna like look a little bit different. So I'm gonna make one part with a medium green and one half of the leaf with a dark green. So okay, I'm gonna do this leaf. I will do one stitch in the middle here, and I'm gonna move to the right side. No, I'm gonna move to the left side because I want to make the left side is slightly lighter than the right side. You can do all these leaves using only one color if you want, and there are different options how you can perform this leaf. You can use fishbone stitch if you want, if you know how to do it, so it's gonna also look really nice and fun to do. I'm using 3 strands right now. Сейчас я использую 3 нити. And I'm moving down and make my stitches really close. I try to go through this line precisely because I want to make my edges to look sharp. But if you can't do it, you can try to outline the borders first and then cover it with satin stitch. But this leaf is so teeny because, yeah, it's so teeny because that's why I don't do any outlining, and I already know that I will make my ends, my sharp edges to look perfect, so I don't use any outlining. But if you want, you can do it. I will save this live stream on my YouTube channel, so you can find it there and rewatch it again when you will be stitching probably this pattern. You can buy this pattern on my Etsy shop. And here, when I'm close to the rose, I'm go under the rose a little bit to like visually to make this leaf look like it's laying under the rose, you know. And also for satin stitch, to make it look perfect, you can use some laying tools. I didn't know that there are some kind of laying tools exist, but they exist. And those laying tools, they can help you like to lay down your thread in a perfect way, especially if you are using 2 or 3 or more strands. They are really helpful. If I will get one, I will probably show you guys in action how it works. But if you don't have it, like me, I don't have it, so you can use some other tools similar to this. Let's try to use maybe some pencil. Yeah, let's try. Let me see if I have some pencil. Okay, look what I found. I found this, and I'm gonna use this side as a laying tool. So let's try. Okay, so I need to come up with my needle and put this down in the place where I need to make my satin stitch, and where I have the loop, I can go under this loop and like move this tool backward and up, and eventually in the end I should have a perfect laying satin stitch. So this is actually how it works, guys. This is fluffy stuff. This is from my not from the back. Okay, let's do it again. So you're doing your satin stitch, you have a loop, you didn't finish it yet, and then you put your laying tool, let's say, and doing like this. So if your thread was twisted before, it's gonna help you to untwist it and lay down it perfectly. Hi Jason! And that's it. And also if you're stitching and you notice that your thread is twisted, so you need to make it not twisted, okay? So you need to stop stitching, and let's say I have a long thread right now, but I do this way. I put my needle here, see, it's a little bit twisted, and then I'm like brushing my thread with my hand, and then it's untwisted. I'm gonna continue stitching. So for me this method, it works perfectly. Okay, so the leaf is done. Yeah, I see a little bit fluffy thread ends from the back side, so you can carefully cut it, but do it carefully. We didn't do this flower yet, and those teeny French knots. Okay, so let's do them. I'm gonna use now this thread color, and it's going to be 2 strands. Okay, and I'm gonna do back stitch. It's just back stitches and French knots. And this long one I will split to 2 back stitches because it's too long and it has a little bit of curve. And when I'm done with the back stitches, I'm gonna do French knots. I'm rubbing my needle 3 times. And for French knots, you need to remember to keep your thread using your left hand. Put your hoop on the desk if you feel comfortable, so you will have 2 hands free. So then I go through the French knot and I keep my thread here almost till the end, and only then I let it go. So this way you will have your loops looks like a little dot, so you will not have any loopy things. Here we go. And also if you tie it too much it's going to be hard to go through the loops with your needle, so just don't tie it. You will also find some pattern transferring methods, instructions and all the stuff inside the pattern. There are links to my articles about different kinds of pattern transferring methods, so you will be able to choose the one you feel like you would like to do. In my case, I used heating erasable pen, and I transferred my pattern using a light box. And you can also use your iPad or any kind of tablet to use the screen from the light from the screen as a light box. You can also use your monitor of your computer as a light box, but use it carefully. And there are other pattern transfer methods like stabilizers. You can use some water erasable stabilizers, stuff like that. There are stabilizers which looks like a paper and you can print designs on it. So this is very handy. Я по образованию вообще бухгалтер-экономист. Я просто люблю рисовать, и я придумываю сама свои дизайны. Просто рисую с головы. Okay, I think I will finish this thread here and I will finish the strands, French knots, and I will switch to satin stitch and I will show you how to stitch the petals for this flower. For this flower, I'm gonna use this color and I'm gonna use 3 strands of loss. And it's going to be the stitch similar to the satin stitch, but it's not exactly, I wouldn't call it satin stitch because I did long and short stitches, so it's probably rather long and short stitch. You will see. Да, я рисую с детства, у меня папа и мама все рисовали, все вышивали, в общем, такая вот творческая семья. Да, я сохраню этот эфир и сохраню его на YouTube-канале. Можете подписаться на мой YouTube-канал, и там будет это видео скоро. Не за что. Я знала, что у меня очень много русскоязычных подписчиков, но не думала, что так много. Okay, so I start here and see what you need to do. You can use your pen or pencil and you can draw the stitches directions that you need to follow. So basically it follows from the edges to the center of the flower. And you can mark for yourself here this way, so you can, when you will be stitching, you will not forget when you need to put your threads, okay? So you can, I basically do it using long and short stitches, so yeah, let's call it long and short stitch, because when you are doing the shape like this, it's going to be hard to put the needle into the same place all the time. If I would like put my needle all the time in this place, it's going to be hard eventually. So better use long and short stitches. So like this, like one long stitch and probably 1 or 2 short stitches. Да, меня зовут Наталья. And also you can outline if you want. If you feel confident, you can not. You can don't outline, so it's up to you probably. And this is how I usually do. So I fill it one half of the petal, and then I continue with another half of the petal, like this. Currently I don't sell embroidery kits, but there are digital patterns available on my Etsy shop, so it doesn't matter where on the planet you are located, you can purchase my pattern, download it right away after purchase, and then you can see which materials you need, all the information inside the petals, inside inside the PDF. So you just can use your materials which you already have, and or use you can buy materials from your local shops. There is a list of different local shops for different countries, and you can just quickly start stitching. Because of international shipping, it takes too long to get my kit to your country, so better get used to the PDFs. It's the really fastest way to start stitching. So if you have some materials, you can use your colors which you already have. It doesn't matter if I use a particular color number, you can use your colors. And you can start stitching in the same day where you when you downloaded the pattern, so it's super fast. I just launched my official site. I have a website, embroideryartbynat.com, and I'm gonna add the section with all the basic articles about embroidery for beginners. So all the information about beginners, for beginners, like which materials to use, how to transfer pattern to the fabric, stuff like that. It's all gonna be there. So the link in my profile and in the description of this video. And currently there are no articles like that, but I will add them later. They are going to be later, and I'm gonna add in links to those articles into the patterns. I'm going to be updating my patterns, so you all will have all those basic articles and all you need to know to start stitching. Here is one more thing that I would like to show you in this video, how to finish your thread. So I usually finish on the back and I go under my previous stitches. I make a loop, I go through this loop and I make it tight. And if possible, I can go one more time under my previous stitches to hide the ends, and now I can cut this thread really close, and as you can see, it's like hidden ends. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish those threads this way as well, and we'll be back to you. So this is, guys, what the final result looks like. And also you can add some monogram or some your custom text inside the heart and make it personalized. The link to this embroidery pattern you can find in the video description. Okay, guys, I probably will finish here. I'm gonna finish stitching this, and I will post the picture of the final work on Instagram. And yeah, welcome to my Etsy shop, welcome to my YouTube channel, and also welcome to my Patreon page, where I regularly post all my newest patterns and articles and exclusive video tutorials. We are running a monthly pattern every month, and we are stitching along together a new pattern every month, and this is a lot of fun. We also have a chat there, our private chat, where we can communicate and help each other. And I'm also doing video calls on Zoom, so I can meet my patrons in person, and it's a lot of fun. So if you guys don't know where to start and how to start embroidering, stuff like that, just join me on Patreon and I will help you out. It's much fun to go through it together rather than just browsing online alone and don't know where to start and how to do this stuff. Okay, guys, thank you so much for watching. See you next time.